Welcome back to week 9 of the DSR channel. And we are covering the UA that just came out earlier today. And this is the last of all 5 of the subclasses. So I got it done today. But I'm sorry, guys, I am not going to make it back to do the origin and general feats today like I thought I was for the new book, Heroes of Faerun. I have to DM in less than an hour. So it's going to be a stretch to get this one in time. But we got it. Okay. And I'll get back to the Heroes of Faerun tomorrow with my usual image, assembled images that you might be used to. I'm kind of like doing these ones a little quick and dirty. Okay, Oathbreaker Paladin. Uh, Obtain great power at any cost. The power of a paladin's oath is so great that it holds a distorted power even when it is violated. When a paladin betrays the tenets of their oath because of corruption, pride, or thirst for power, they lose the blessing granted by their original oath, but sometimes take on the sinister blessing of the Oathbreaker in its place. Oathbreakers use fear and overwhelming power to achieve their goals, while many Oathbreakers are beyond redemption. Some paladins bend this oath to achieve a great and noble deed to atone for the past evils. At the DM's discretion, a paladin of any level who violates their tenets of their oath can lose the benefits granted by their original subclass and gain the features of the Oathbreaker subclass instead. Alternatively, a paladin can choose this subclass at level 3 on the character's backstory of falling from grace. These paladins often share the following tenets: fear is a tool in the hands of the powerful, strive for power at any cost, do what must be done, but never lose sight of your goal. Great flavor text. Okay, I mean they're doing a great job with the flavor text. So, and by the way, every one of these is better, if not great. Like some of them they nailed, and some of them need some more improvement. But even the ones that need improvement are still better than what they were before. Okay, which just makes the banneret hurt more, I think. Yeah, like that just makes it hurt more. So we're gonna skip the design notes because you can't trust them anyway. Oh, and by the way, right, it is completely valid to say that you were like a vengeance paladin and you broke your oath because you decided not to punish somebody, and you actually are kind of like a good guy now, right? You broke that oath to become a good person who doesn't punish people. Like so, oathbreakers can be good people, right? It's not. Don't fall into the tropes of or the mindset of this class is always this way. Okay, you can build the same class, the same subclass, many different ways, or even build the mechanics the same way, but create a very different personality and identity and roleplay opportunity for the very same build. So don't box yourself in on the roleplay, okay? All right, let's start off actually with the Oathbreaker spells. Because they, anyway, always start with the bonus spell lists on the actual released items. So the Oathbreaker spells. So they swapped Witch Bolt for Inflict Wounds. Inflict Wounds was bad before, and they made it worse in 2024. So definitely take it off everybody's spell list. Do not force that on anybody's spell list. It's a garbage spell. Just crappy. And even worse on a martial, right? This is a martial. You're a half caster, full martial. You should never spend your action casting a crappy attack spell like that. Yeah. Which also brings me back to Witch Bolt. Probably not a good fit here because you're martial, right? It's kind of got this, like, of all the level 1 attack spells, this is probably the least bad to put on a half caster full martial because you can cast it. Now you just burned your action of your first round, but as long as that target stays alive, you get a free 1d10, 1d12, 1d12 additional lightning damage every round thereafter. Is that worth it? Probably not. Probably not. And unless you put that on the boss of the fight, and you put it on like the lieutenants or one of the minions, they're probably going to die before the next round anyway. So you wasted your action. So they should not use Witch Bolt. They should swap it to something else. I mean, I get the thematics of Witch Bolt, but you got to think about the class design when you choose spells. Okay, and this one doesn't work. Hellish Rebuke is okay, not great, because you don't have enough spell slots to be burning them on this. But if they leave it, that's fine. Yeah, you can use that once in a while. That's cool. And it's thematic. You burn them with, Hellish Fire. So That one's okay. Crown of Madness sucks, has always sucked, and still sucks. They should get rid of that one. Darkness is okay, not great. Again, you're a full martial half caster. You want to spend your action attacking, not casting a control spell like Darkness. So anyway, I don't know. Fear and Summon Undead at level 9 for your level 3 spells. Fear is a good control spell and thematic, and it's a strong enough control spell that one I think is worth it. Worth using your action. So especially since the Fear effect synergizes with your subclass features. So I think that one's fine. Leave it. Summon Undead, that's good. I like it because it leans into this theme of you control undead, you're lord of undead, and it synergizes with some of your subclass features. So I like it too, and you can cast it before combat and still benefit from it for an hour, right? So it doesn't hurt your action economy. Just don't cast it in combat. It's not worth it in combat, guys. Blight is okay, not great. Phantasmal Killer is cool. Weird, like those are both weird again on a half caster full martial. Like Blight's okay if you're a full caster. It's much worse if you're a half caster, right? You do not want to spend your action and one of your top spell slots at level 13 casting that. Phantasmal Killer may be the same. I don't know. Phantasmal Killer is better than Blight, so that's not terrible. Contagion is much like what I said about Phantasmal Killer. It's your top level spell slot. You only get 2 at max level. You get 2 5th level spell slots. I would never spend one of those on Contagion, right? You want to save those for your Dreadlord level 20 capstone. So that's a miss. Steel and Strike, same thing. It's cool on a full caster, not good for a half caster full martial. They should swap all of those out for something that's like utility niche, and they'll just sit on your spell list, and you'll just maybe use them sometimes. You got them ready if you need to. Otherwise, you use your spell slots for smites and recharging your Dreadlord capstone. Level 3, Conjure Undead. As a bonus action, you can expend one of your Channel Divinity to summon a number of undead equal to half your Charisma modifier, rounded up. Minimum of 1 undead summoned. Each undead appears in an unoccupied space you can see within 30 feet of you and is a type of your choice, skeleton or zombie. You can look them up in their stat blocks in the monster manual. The undead are under your control for 1 minute, after which they dissolve into ash. Each undead is an ally to you and your allies. In combat, the undead shares your initiative count, but it takes its turn immediately after yours. It obeys your verbal commands, no action required by you. If you don't issue any, it takes the dodge action and uses its movement to avoid danger. And that replaced the control undead feature. Now, the control undead feature from the 2014 version of this was stronger when you encountered undead, I think. Like, because you could control, and if it worked, which was a problem, they had a wisdom save. When you encountered undead and it worked, then you got a pretty powerful minion that you would control for 24 hours. If you didn't encounter undead, then you never even had a chance, and this was a useless feature. Or if you did encounter them and they saved, then this was wasted as well. And it was an action. So I like Conjure Undead a lot better. Way better. This is a lot better. And functionally, they're the same as what you would get with Animate Undead, except they share your initiative, but it also doesn't take any action to command them. So they work pretty well. They only last a minute, and I like the idea and visuals of them dissolving into ash when you're done with them, like blowing away in the wind. Cool. This is great. I like it a lot. And even though it synergizes with your Aura of Hatred, so their damage is going to increase, the stat block never increases, and you have no other feature buffing them up. So at high levels, this now becomes even like late tier 2, this becomes useless because those stat blocks are so weak, they're going to just get mashed. And they're going to have minimal impact on combat. Their damage just isn't enough to matter that much. I mean, I don't know, it'll be a little bit. I think they need to scale up to higher stat blocks, or they need to be summoned with temporary hit points, or like that would probably be enough. Just give them an extra number of temporary hit points equal to your Paladin level. Yeah. That way they're not just incinerated by some AoE automatically. And you're spending your Channel Divinity for this, so it's not like the same situation as using Animate Dead and walking in with his army that you can just have dozens of skeletons and zombies. So yeah, I think they should do that. At least give it some temporary hit points that scales, so they have a little bit better survivability. Also at level 3, Dreadful Aspect. Now, functionally, this is basically the same as it was before, except it triggers off of Divine Smite, no additional action required, instead of taking your full action. So this is way more powerful. And it was, I think, good before, and now this is great. Maybe OP, maybe, because without any impact to your action economy, and you already wanted to Divine Smite, you're a Paladin. Like you need reasons to not Divine Smite, right? Like every round in combat, your hand's just hovering over that Divine Smite, like when, yeah. Um, so with no cost to your action economy, you're basically now doing this. It is limited by your channel divinities, which aren't very plentiful. I don't know. I think it's a little too powerful. They either need to reduce the range of that emanation or reduce the duration. Yeah, they got to. This is too much. I don't know. But I wouldn't be mad at it if they let it ride, because I'd love to see my players use this. Yeah, bring it on, guys. Uh, Level 7 Aura of Hate. This is identical, except they fixed it. Yay! It no longer benefits enemies. Nailed it. Thanks, guys. And they changed the damage type. So the damage type is now necrotic instead of whatever the weapon's damage was. Cool, makes sense. That's probably slightly weaker, but not enough to matter. So, because necrotic's not resisted that often. So, yeah, fine. I like it. Good job. Level 15. This is identical, except they updated the wording to get rid of the non-magical weapons qualifier, which is standard now. And this is super strong. I mean, this is, if they print this as is, this is a really, really strong Paladin subclass, and Paladin is already a strong base class. I don't know. I worry that all of a sudden this is the only kind of Paladin I'm going to start seeing if they print it as is. And as a DM, my joy in life is one of my primary joys in life, DMing, is seeing the variety of players coming up with all kinds of different kinds of characters, different builds, and different identities and role play for their characters, right? When you start seeing the same thing over and over, that is super boring. So, yeah, maybe too much. All right, sorry, I got a little ghetto on to fit on the screen because there's no more bottom of the page to scroll down. But level 20, Dreadlord. As a bonus action, you can imbue your aura of protection with Unholy Gloom, granting the benefits below for 10 minutes or until you end them, no action required. Once you use this feature, you can't do so again until you finish a long rest. You can also restore use of it by expending a level 5 spell slot, no action required. Nice. And correct me if I'm wrong, I think that they gave that restoration of using your 5th level spell slot to every paladin, which they should. Because this is this is their capstone. It's super cool. You want them to use it multiple times. Let them spend their 5th level spell slot. So great. So these things all occur. Darkness. Magical darkness fills your aura of protection. You and your allies in your aura of protection can see within this magical darkness. Now note that they clarified that magical darkness with sage advice, that magical darkness itself does not block dark vision. So unless the feature says this blocks dark vision, it doesn't. So even though this is magical darkness, this doesn't block dark vision. Which maybe they should add. Otherwise, this is pretty weak because at level 20, like everything has dark vision or true sight or blind sight. So this is probably doing nothing. So if they don't add that clause that says this blocks dark vision, they should maybe just remove it because it isn't doing anything. I mean, I don't know. You're probably going to, I don't know. This is going to be very weak and almost useless if they don't add that it blocks dark vision. So everybody, when you fill out the survey, I mean, maybe I shouldn't say this. This subclass is very strong, but this is useless if they don't add that. So when you fill out the survey, tell them they should add that. Or I don't know, tell them to remove it. I don't know if you think this is too powerful. All right, fear. Whenever a creature with the frightened condition starts its turn in your aura of protection, that creature takes 4d10 psychic damage. Shadow Strike. As a bonus action, you can make a melee spell attack, shaping the gloom exuding from you into a blade that targets one creature in your aura of protection. On hit, the attack deals necrotic damage equal to 3d10 plus your charisma modifier. Okay, so overall, This is all functionally the same as it was before, except that the duration is increased to 10 minutes, which is nice. They organized the sections of what it does, just change the formatting essentially. Um, the magical darkness clause is new, but probably doesn't work as well as what they had before. Because what they had before was creatures. This section. Additionally, the paladin and creatures he or she chooses in the aura are draped in deeper shadows. Creatures that rely on sight have disadvantage on attacks rolls against creatures draped in the shadows. So that was, I mean, it worked fine and had definitely had an impact. So that was actually probably stronger than this magical darkness thing. This magical darkness thing probably does nothing. So overall, they increased the duration and made it a little weaker by removing that clause, unless they add that this darkness blocks dark vision. The Shadow Strike works exactly the same. Bonus action, same amount of damage, makes a melee spell attack. So that works exactly the same. Um, so this feature is mostly the same, a little bit weaker, and I don't know if they meant to make it weaker in that way. That they probably didn't mean to make it weaker. They probably meant to make it easier to understand, I think, and messed it up. So I don't know. At least ask for clarification on that one. Like, did you mean to mess it up? I mean, mean to make it weaker? I don't know. Okay. Um, Overall, very strong subclass. They fixed all of the problems that the subclass had, made it all more streamlined, all more powerful, except that one little thing in their level 20 feature. And by the way, even if they don't fix that, like how many of you play level 20? Like I run level 21 shots, and everybody who does them with me are like, wow, I've never done another level 21 shot. So level 20 is rare. But yeah, I don't know. This is a great subclass, super thematic, very flavorful. The mechanics work better together than they did before, and creates this like you've got these unholy minions, you're doing unholy things, you're scary, you got darkness following you around, you got things striking out of the darkness. This is great. This is great. If they print it as is, it's still a thumbs up. This is great. There's just some tweaks where the spell list they can improve things, and then tweak to this Dreadlord feature they can improve things. So, but those are tweaks, right? This is a thumbs up if they print it as is. So, wow, good job. All right, and thanks for watching. Catch you next time, and looks like I got 30 minutes on my next DMing session. So made it.